This is Romany. She came to us in 2021 in very poor condition. She had a really heavy worm burden, she had poor feet, she had lice, and she was really shut down. While we tended to her physical needs, we focused a lot on bonding with her to help her relax and connect with us and feel safe with us. Our daughter fell in love with her instantly, and they grew together, learning how humans and horses interact. We noticed Romany becoming sticky in her movement this summer in 2025 and sensitive over her withers and neck. The vet prescribed some painkillers as the first port of call and, of course, rest to see if there were any changes, and there were no changes at all. Although we couldn't see any skin trauma, we tried treating her for allergies, irritation, to see if this abated the symptoms, and nothing. Difficult as it is for horses, they don't speak our language and we don't speak theirs. And it's trying to understand through the horse's language what they're trying to tell us. I started to suspect the trauma from her younger years was starting to come out. So I used my skills to help this, and this is what happened.
Yeah, so I think you should do that.
I work with meridian lines. It's a Chinese theory, and horses have meridian lines that relate to certain parts of their body. I use what's called a moxa stick, and the idea is that the moxa and the warmth from the moxa starts to release the blocked energies in the meridian lines and helps the horse flow more naturally and more easily. So as you can see here, I start working on the meridian lines of the kidney. I believe that at this point, it's always good to start with the horse's kidney meridian anyway, because sometimes they're unsure of who we are and what we're doing, and it just helps the horse relax into the whole treatment. And as you can see, Romany is quite curious with her ears and her eyes as to what's going on. I also treated this line because horses are fight or flight creatures, and naturally they will be, their meridian, kidney meridian, is generally the one that suffers the most in life. As you can see already, Romany is starting to lick and chew, and that for me is a sign that they're starting to relax. The heat from this is a really, really lovely feeling for the horses. Sometimes at first they can feel a bit strange, they feel it strange, but generally speaking, they really enjoy it. I'm working here down Romany's shoulder, and at this point, this is where the small intestine is, and I'm using my hands to feel where the tension is, and then I'm coming at it with the moxa, and then I'm working in the line of the meridian, in the line of the energy, to help move that energy down and through that meridian line and help it start to flow. And as you can see, there are some small reactions with Ro, and she's starting now to really settle down. It took her some time, but the first thing she wanted to do was go and have a drink, which, when you think that the kidney is the organ that regulates the water and the fluid in our bodies and horses' bodies, it was quite interesting to see that Romany, one of the first things that she wanted to do was have a drink. I also like to make sure that the horse is free to be able to move around the stable and do what they feel they need to do. And when they ask for a little break, they have a break, and then we move on again. I'm now focusing in the wither region, which is again not the top of where the kidney meridian joins what is called the pericardium meridian and the small intestine meridian. And as you can see, Ro is starting to yawn and lick and chew. And this, again, is a sign whereby I see that the horse is starting to release. And this is a really, really good sign. And as you can see, Ro here must have been holding an awful lot of tension in that region, in that junction point, which is where she was flinching and juddering at the beginning. I'm now working on the stomach meridian, and this part here is actually physically is the ileocecal valve, which can sometimes be quite tricky for horses and humans, and it's where the large intestine and the small intestine meet. So I'm working with my hand here to just feel the release, just to feel the energy and help Romany feel comforted by my touch, which I also think is really important as well to accustomize horses to the human touch and for them to feel safe and comforted by that rather than threatened at all. And it's nice for me as well to be able to connect and feel the horse and feel their energy and be able to comfort them. So as you can see, I'm just gently holding that space, and you can just see her breathing in and out, and I'm just, with my hands, relaxing this part of her body. Now we're moving over to the quarters, and this is where the liver meridian and the kidney meridian are. And again, so it's a place where horses hold a lot of tension. It's particularly working horses. And I think, again, it's important to just, if you're going to work on one part of the horse has, the body as a system. It's really important to work on all of the system to make sure that where you're releasing energy, it's able to flow then through the rest of the system and free up any blockages maybe that we're finding further down the line. So we're working here on the last points of the kidney meridian. Again, you have to be quite careful because the horses can find that a little bit of a vulnerable space. But Romany here is really relaxed now, and she's really chilled, and and they do seem to get to that point where the horses just become so relaxed and chilled. They let you work all over their body and touch them. And that's really when the magic starts to happen, I guess. So I return back here to the kidney meridian and to that juncture point as to where Romany was finding most tension. As you can see here, Romany's now not twitching, and she's not juddering when you're touching that wither region. So for me, that's where I start to think that we've started to release the tension, and we've started to move the energy, that build-up of energy, through her body. So there will be parts of her body that's not receiving the energy that it needs, and hopefully now it's feeling more balanced, and Romany's feeling more balanced. I work here on the pole region. Again, ridden horses, this is where a lot of tension naturally resides just through having the bridle on. And also, horses are big thinkers. Romany is a really big thinker, and she holds a lot of tension in her head because she's thinking a lot. So it really helps to release that space there. Now we're working on the other side, and you can see again that there's tension being held in the left-hand side of Romany's body and the mirroring meridians. So I work again through that junction point on her wither, where that joins the kidney meridian, the small intestine, and the pericardium. And I just work here on that junction point, and I have my hand underneath, and I'm feeling the energy, and I'm feeling the changes in her body. And I'm also looking at her body movements and her eyes and her ears, just to see how she's responding to the whole thing. And you can see here, she's concentrating on me. She's relaxed, but she's concentrating on what I'm doing as I'm working over what feels like quite a vulnerable point for her. And she's just waiting to feel that change in her body. And so am I, waiting for her to relax and to feel that release. And here it is. And this is magic. Romany's really releasing now, really letting go, really stretching. And that makes me really happy. And you can see that this here, this is where we're working on the liver. And Rose just had a little moment there where I think she was so relaxed. And then she kind of woke herself up a bit. And then we're coming down here, down the kidney region. And Ro is really, really feeling the benefits now. And this can take sometimes well over an hour, depending on the horse and what the horse is holding in. And sometimes they can resist because they don't want to let go. They don't want to let go of that tension. And when they do, it's just a really wonderful experience. Here I'm working on the stomach meridian, and you can see her lip. she's now going to sleep, and that's magical. I love to see this. I love to see the horses feeling so safe and relaxed that they're completely immersed in the treatment, and they let go, and they have that moment where they're in full, absolute relaxation. Because I guess when you think horses are fight or flight animals, it's in their nature to always be alert and always be wondering what danger might be around the corner. And just that in itself is a lot of pressure on the mind and the body. So to see Romany in this space now, sleeping, and you can see I'm happy, and I can feel the changes as well. Like even how she's holding her body is changing. Her back looks a lot straighter, and her stomach is just, I can't really explain, but just her gut region just looks more and feels more relaxed. There she goes. Now she's letting go. So we're working over the meridian line again, just to keep moving that energy through her. And she's really benefiting from it now. And here we come back up to the neck, where the top of the kidney meridian is. And you can see here she's immersed in it now, completely relaxed. Something I notice as well is her eyes, and it's quite difficult to explain unless you're someone that's got horses or understands them. Her eye looks fuller, in that her head is relaxed and her eyes just looked clearer and fuller, as though she wasn't thinking about the discomfort. There was no need to think about it anymore. And that was a really, really nice thing to see. I think now it's time to stop. Romany is standing beautifully square. She's asleep. She's rested. And as you can see, look here, she lets out a bit of gas and has a stretch of her back leg. So you can see that was a point where she was clearly holding a lot of tension in that back left leg. And now she's having a little wander around. Here she comes. She's having another yawn. So it's nice to watch the horses after the treatment as well, licking and chewing and really letting go. She's clearly been. I'm so happy to see Ro and how she's responding to this treatment. And now she's going to have lots of rest. And then we'll see how she starts moving just through leading her. And we're really happy with Ro's response. And I'm really excited to see her future. If you'd like to see more of this content, please subscribe to my channel and keep up to date with what's going on. Thanks for watching.